One of the things our world, the culture and society, this thing that we consider progress and all, requires of us is to depend upon everybody else, and not necessarily in a good way. It teaches us to depend on everything. As I've been out on my own and making this journey, it's taught me to be very self-sufficient. It's taught me that whatever comes just comes, and you deal with it and you go on. But that's not what I see in a lot of my friends and a lot of people I know. Um, Lots of fear that you're not living up to someone's expectations, fear that what people will think about you, fear that society has norms and you can't cross those norms. Fears. Um, it's amazing to kind of this time. I just is the most valuable time of my life is this time right now, because it's been such an inward journey. It's helped me to develop more as a person, including dealing with my shortcomings, understanding who I am, and who I am not, most importantly. Um, but it's it's so hard for the people I see around, friends and all, to unplug from things. It's so foreign to their concept. Um, and I see sometimes when I'll approach someone or say something that kind of is maybe pushing them outside of their safety zone, and there's this immediate, hard, angry reaction most of the time. And I know it's touched a chord. It's not what I do intend to and touch a chord in them, but I hope, always hope, that it will go deeper than the emotional reaction, that it will go to the heart of the problem. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but I think all times, even in those who can't see it at the moment, I think over the long term, as they gain more and more life experience, something inside of them identifies with this being free, and realizing that the things, the thoughts, and the culture and society and all binds us. It binds us all. We're trapped in it, and it's hard to escape from it. Totally hard to escape. That's the way we're set up. I always like that saying that we're the only mammals on Earth that have to pay to live here, and it's really true. Money's become such dictatorial faction in our lives. Everything is about money. Your value, your status, your achievements, all these things that we hold so in great esteem are so totally worthless just because they're based upon money. It isn't it, folks. Money isn't it. You gotta have money to live. Yes, you do. I hear all the arguments going on in the back of my mind. Yeah, I know. People are gonna be saying, "Well, you're crazy. You gotta have. You gotta." No, you don't. No, you don't. There's always ways. I honestly think that it stagnates our evolution as a human being to be caught up in this culture because we're not allowed to grow. We're not, the only place we're allowed to grow is up the chain of our society, not as a human being. And there's a huge difference and a vast expanse between those two factors. We're human first. And that's the way it's always been. You know, and you see people that live outside of the culture, and you see that they are healthier, happier. They find everyday joys that they would absolutely bypass if they were on the cultural road. Just wouldn't see it, just wouldn't recognize it. The greatest joys are the simple things. The greatest achievements are the internal ones, but we don't see it that way. Um, we tend to write these people off as dreamers or whatever, but hey, like John Lennon said, I may be a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. There's a lot of us out there, a lot of good people. And I think for us to, I think it's going to be a necessary part that we grow up into a mature adult status, and that's leaving our adolescent home in this cultural milieu and becoming, you know, experienced, healthy, happy adults. I don't find that much in society. In fact, I don't think I have found that in society. So, anyway, um, it's time for a change, you know? Make a change in your life. Do something that pushes your limits. Go outside of your bounds. I always, I use the phrase question everything. And that's true. Question everything. It doesn't mean you'll prove it wrong or prove it right, but at least you looked into it and you've kind of came to it. A lot of times it comes with multiple layers because during the discovery process of something you've always believed to be true, and then suddenly you find out it's not true, there's a questioning of how the hell did you get in a position to where you believe something that wasn't true. So there's an internal process, a layer by which you discover more about yourself and push yourself a little more in the realm of being a human, being a human being. It's such a waste. Our it's just such a waste of life for people to be trapped on the treadmill and can't get off and um, won't make the effort because they think they can't or think they don't know how or too worried about other people. And that's a huge one. It is for most people. Just worry about what other people think. But at some point, you've made those kinds of decisions. At some point, you have stood your ground on something that may have been against the flow because you knew it was true and you knew it was the right thing to do. I think that's kind of where we need to get, you know, as far as being a little more honest and authentic with ourselves and finding our peace is to question things, go inside, question why this, why that. And I have found that in the discovery process, when you're open to being challenged, you just tell the universe, okay, if I've got a problem, show it to me. I'm going to take it in and I'm going to deal with it. That's the easy part. The hard part is when the universe slaps it in your face, and then you've really got to accept it and deal with it. That's the hard part, and that's where most people fold because they don't want. Um, it's not that they're not brave, courageous. It's not that they're not. It's just so ingrained in us to remain in our row A. Seat number 67. I mean, it's just ingrained in us to stay in that walk. Stay on this path. Don't get off. Nobody. You don't see anybody else getting off this path, right? Well, that can't be right. The majority is always right. Right. Anyway, I think I'll just start calling these daily rants. I used to call them morning coffee. But just every once in a while, I just like to have a little rant and hope somebody somewhere says, you know what? He might have a point. Much peace, much love.